Hey guys. Okay, so this is just hopefully going to be a short stream, but I say that often and it goes long, so we'll see if it works this time. Right now, I wanted to talk about the issue of censorship, deplatforming, and how we respond to people who host people we don't like on their streams. Right now, if you're in the same circles I'm in, if you're on Twitter and YouTube, then you will be aware of a certain debate going on about a certain YouTuber hosting another YouTuber on his platform. I'm going to use this as a specific example, so I will be using names and all of that, but what I want to get into is the principles behind it. What can we learn from this? And is the response to it actual attempts at censorship? So, as many of you know, Tim Pool recently had a YouTuber by the name of Vosh on his live stream. And in response to that, even before he came on, when it was just scheduled and when it was announced, a lot of people got very upset, saying, you should not have this guy on your channel. You really should not. Okay, he's a horrible person. He's done these horrible things. He says these horrible things. He has these horrible ideas. You should not have this man on your stream. And Tim Pool responded saying, I thought that it was the left that was for censorship and not the right. What is this? People calling for someone to be deplatformed. And the response was, well, this guy's horrible. You should be deplatforming him. You should, and we're not actually banning him. We're not censoring him. He has his own channel. Why are you, you just don't have to amplify it. To which again, Tim Pool responded, this is the same argument that the left uses when they try to ban people from college campuses, when Ben Shapiro, keep him from speaking, or Milo and all of that. Oh, we just don't want to amplify his message. Well, tough luck. I'm going to have whoever I want on my stream, whenever I want. In the beginning, watching all of this, I was on the side of you shouldn't have Vosh, because I am not a fan of Vosh. I don't like him, and I hated to see him on Tim's channel. But from a principled perspective, I was actually on Tim's side. He has the right to host whomever he pleases, and nobody has the right to tell him he can't. But I started looking into it. I started really thinking about it, reading the responses, because there were people I respected on both sides. And I noticed it was getting very, very heated on both sides. And so I started thinking, how would I address this? How would I go about saying what I thought to Tim? Because again, I don't want Vosh on there. I watched the entire stream. I did not enjoy it. And if he has Vosh back, as he says he was planning to have him back, I probably won't watch it. I'm not interested. Anyway, as I considered it, as I read through the comments, as I read through the arguments going back and forth, I realized neither side was wrong in what they wanted, but both were making mistakes, I felt like, in expressing themselves. Tim is right. He has every right to host whomever he pleases. Nobody has the right to tell him he can't. But the other side is also right in that they have the right to tell him, we don't like that you're hosting this guy, and you shouldn't be hosting this guy. They were not trying to force him not to host him. They were not calling on YouTube to censor his channel or to ban him, as far as I saw. They were not threatening him in any way, like, I'm going to withdraw funding and I'm going to tell people to boycott your channel, which honestly, I think boycotts are okay. So they could have asked people to boycott his channel as long as they weren't pushing it, as long as they weren't exercising some authority to force him to do so. So just calling for it, saying, Tim, you shouldn't have him, and why are you doing this? And I'm so distraught that you would have him. That's fine. I don't think Tim was right to say that this is attempted censorship, because they weren't trying to force him not to have him. The difference between what people on Twitter were doing in calling for Tim, please don't do this, or Tim, I'm so horrified that you would do this, and those who try to ban, say, Milo or Ben Shapiro, is that the leftists who try to get him banned from college campuses are attempting to use authority and manipulation. So often the people who tried to get the Minds IRL event shut down, or the event that Tim hosted where the theater backed out, people were calling in threats. With Milo, they had riots and they were destroying property. With Ben Shapiro, I think that there weren't violent threats made, but I think that there were threats made. So it is different. Nobody was threatening Tim. This is not the same calling for censorship. Yes, it is. They were calling for Tim not to platform him, but they were expressing opinions, very strong opinions, yes, but they were not It wasn't violence. Then they were not saying, Tim, you don't have the right to do this. They were not saying, Tim, you must not do this. They were saying, Tim, I don't want you to do this. So they had every right to express that. It is fine to say, I don't want to hear from this person, and I don't want you to host this person. Tim also has every right to say, I can host whomever I want. I feel like the proper answer would have been if Tim had said, thank you for your opinion, thank you for your concern, I'm choosing to do what I want. And if the other side had said, I hate what you're doing, I don't think this is right, I don't think you should have him, but I recognize that you have the right to do it if that's what you want to do. That is what I feel like would have been better. It's not censorship to not have someone on your platform. If Tim decided, okay, I'm not going to have him on my platform, that's not censorship. It's not deplatforming. It's choosing not to host that person. If everybody chooses not to host that person and everybody chooses to ignore this person, that would be a form of censorship. But just one person doing it? No. Now, Tim likes to use the example, the snowflake doesn't blame itself for the avalanche. And how many grains of sand does it take to make a heap? In this instance, it's not a group of people, though, choosing not to host Vosh. Vosh, as far as I know, is not trying to get on a lot of channels. No, there's a lot of people that don't like him. So, and a lot of people probably would not host him on their channels, but it's not like he's going around trying to find a platform and nobody's giving it to him. Everybody's refusing it. No, I haven't noticed that he's trying. Maybe once or twice here and there with some people who are just like, no, I want nothing to do with you. But it's at this point, it's not a major censorship issue. If it was, I remember one person, I think it was Millennial Woes or something, who nobody would host, nobody wanted to have anything to do with them. And so I can't remember who it was, but somebody hosted, I never watched Millennial Woes, so to be honest, I don't even know if it's a he or she. But somebody hosted them on their stream, and there was a big to-do about it. And how could you host this person? And whoever hosted them said, it's because nobody else will, and I think we need to be able to hear what this person has to say. Now, as I said, I don't like Vosh myself, and I didn't enjoy the stream, and I would prefer that Tim not have him back. However, I have to back up and not just say Tim has the right to do it, but also say I don't know that it is necessarily wrong for him to have Vosh. And I'll give you another example. Years and years ago, back when the anti-SJW movement was still comparatively new, but it was being attacked left and right, and it was kind of almost dangerous to be an anti-SJW. You get a lot of attacks from newspapers and magazines and colleges. It could get pretty ugly. Back when it was still in its early stages. I remember people talking about this one man, and they said, this guy's a white supremacist. And immediately I thought, he's probably not. Just because he's getting that accusation, that probably means he isn't. But then I noticed people I respect saying, this guy's a white supremacist. And I thought, wait a second. And so I said, well, do you have any evidence? Can you show me something he said? And they would show these little 2-second clips of him saying half a sentence. That, yes, it sounded like something a white supremacist would say, but I'm sorry, a 2-second clip with half a sentence, that's not evidence. He could be reading a quote. He could be doing anything. And I thought, I'm not buying that. And a lot of people were getting upset with anybody who questioned the narrative. I didn't have a lot of friends in the sphere at that time, so it's not like I was getting attacked for it. But even when I would say, I see no reason to believe he's a white supremacist. Oh, how could you say that? Of course he is. Of course he is. Well, then after some time went by, Sargon of Akkad decided, I'm going to host this guy on my stream. We're going to have a debate. And a lot of people were furious, were angry. How dare you have him on your platform? You have a major platform. How dare you? And I thought, yes, this is wonderful. I'll finally find out, is he an actual white supremacist or is everybody lying about him? And I kind of thought everybody was just exaggerating because, again, I'd just seen so many exaggerated claims from so many people. And I don't believe accusations without evidence. Sargon hosted the guy. And that's when I found out, yes, Richard Spencer is a white supremacist. I was shocked. I was shocked at some of the things he said. But I was not going to believe that he was a white supremacist based on unfounded accusations. So by Sargon hosting him for like a 2-hour debate, that, by the way, where Sargon did terrible, because Sargon, from his perspective, he said it was a debate, but he felt like he didn't actually have to refute any of the claims. All he had to do was get Richard Spencer to admit that he believes these things, and then Sargon would just laugh. He's like, almost as, I can't believe you actually admitted that. It's, and yes, just Spencer admitting that he believes these things was enough for me to be like, whoa, oh my goodness, okay, yeah, this guy is a white supremacist. Oh, now I see why nobody wanted him hosted. Sargon should have actually addressed his points, should have actually debated with him. He didn't. He basically just pushed him to admit what he believed and then laughed and kind of went on to the next subject. So Sargon did a terrible job in that debate, and Sargon would say it himself. A lot of people were furious beforehand that he would dare host him. A lot of people were furious afterward that he didn't address the points, that he didn't take down the issues, that he didn't actually take it seriously, because he didn't take it seriously. People left Sargon's channel like, unsubbed, I'm not following you anymore. He may have lost financial support, I don't know, but a lot of people were furious with it. I was grateful to Sargon for hosting him because now I actually got a chance to see that, yes, people were right. This guy is a white supremacist. Don't listen to him. So, and I do wish Sargon had done a better job, but for me, he didn't have to, because just hearing what Spencer had to say was enough for me to realize they're telling the truth about this guy. There is a reason to censor this guy, or to not platform him, to not amplify his voice. I can understand, therefore, from that, I can understand why some people would want to platform people that they may disagree with 100%. It could be, with Tim, he had heard these accusations against Vosh. It could also be that he was like me in that he didn't believe them and he wanted to flesh it out. He wanted to hear what Vosh had to say. It could be that he believed some of them and not all of them, and so he just wanted to hear it. It could be that he believed all of them and just wanted to still have a differing opinion where he could discuss it, where he could go through some things. I don't know. I have no idea what Tim thought of Vosh before he had him on. And it could be that other people had been hearing accusations, because I heard a lot of accusations against Vosh before I ever saw him in any long form things. And in the beginning, I do not believe accusations that are without evidence. I have had false accusations leveled against me. I have had some very serious false accusations leveled against me. I've said this on streams before. I once had the police show up at my house in the middle of the night because my parents got mad at me and so called the police and accused me of committing a felony. So the police showed up in the middle of the night to say, hey, we're checking on this because we got a call from, and I was furious. I was so mad. But from those past experiences I've had, and I've had people spread lies about me. The police one was the most serious, because that was kind of a big deal. I mean, you got to realize we still have the death penalty here in Florida, and the crime of which they accused me, you could get the death penalty. Fortunately, the police were like, almost immediately like, that it was obviously not true. So it was no issue. I wasn't taken in or anything. But it's still, from my own personal experience, I don't believe accusations against people without evidence. Just because of I've been accused. So anyway, even with Vosh, in the beginning, when I was hearing these accusations against him and I was seeing little clips that people were posting, I thought, okay, well, I'm sorry, that's not sufficient evidence. That's a little clip that you're posting. It wasn't until I started seeing longer videos. In the beginning, I think it was actually reaction videos. Karlin Borisenko, she did a reaction video to Vosh where she played an entire Vosh's video, chopping it up, and she was responding to it. And I actually think she missed a few things. There was one time where she started laughing and she said, did he just say such and such? And I'm like, I don't think he said that. And I backed it up and listened. I'm like, no, he didn't say that. You misheard it. But she just kept going. So, and that's something where I know Vosh's followers would just latch onto that. She's lying about him. She's lying about him. It's like, no, she's not. She misheard what he said. But from that, I still got to hear an entire Vosh video. So, and things like that. I think I did. I don't remember I don't think I've ever actually gone to his channel to watch it, but I have seen longer forms to where I can see where people don't like him, and I don't like him either. But so many people, if you haven't seen that, or if you haven't watched his videos, you wouldn't know he was bad. You might hear people talk about him and you're like, I don't have time to go to his channel and just watch a dozen of his videos, especially if he isn't good. It's not important to me. It's not an issue to me. Then Tim hosting him and showing that, it helps those people to be able to understand, to be able to see, yeah, okay, this guy is messed up. And I felt like Tim didn't push back enough. He didn't try to pin him down on his beliefs enough for people to really get a good idea of what Vosh believed. And Vosh he just kind of went all over the place. As soon as Tim would try to pin him down on an issue, he would just jump around and quick, change the subject. Oh, jump over here. Oh, well, what about this? And but see, you have to look at that. And it was terrible. And I felt like I wish Tim had done a better job of trying to pin him down on issues. But Tim's not a debater, and he said that he likes to have conversations. That said, Tim will go after some people if he's in the mood. So when he says, "Oh no, that's just not my personality," yes, it is, Tim. You do go after some people sometimes. It's just rare. He does prefer, it seems like, to just discuss. Anyway, I still like Tim. I am definitely still going to continue watching his videos. I disagree with him so strongly on so many issues, and there are some videos where I won't watch them just because I get so upset with the ideas that he espouses. He and I have some pretty strong disagreements. He doesn't know me, so it's not like he disagrees with me. It's more I disagree with him. But we need to have the ability to watch people with whom we disagree to be able to learn. All that to say, I'm still going to watch Tim's videos. Yes, I don't like that he hosted Vosh, and I kind of wish he hadn't. But I can understand that it probably was helpful for some people who have never seen Vosh, have never heard of him, and now they kind of have a better idea of it. I do believe it is absolutely essential that we all have the right to express our opinions. Tim has the right to have whomever he pleases on his channel, and I have the right to express my displeasure with that in no uncertain terms and say, no, I wish you hadn't done that. Tim, oh my goodness, that's not okay. You shouldn't have this person. And both of us at the end of the day should be able to agree to disagree and walk away. And if it's really, really bad, then I may say, I'm just not going to watch your channel anymore. As long as I am not trying to get Tim's channel shut down, I have the right to express that. And Tim should not say, oh, you're calling for censorship. No, I'm expressing my opinion. And that is one of the big differences that I've seen between the left and the right, at least the far stronger left and stronger right, let's just say, is that the right will express strong opinions, but not expect you to, not say you have to abide by it. The right tries to convince people. The left tries to force people. And obviously I'm generalizing. Not everybody, not all by any means. But when the left says, oh, you shouldn't do this, it's more like you can almost hear that the next step is going to be, I'm going to call your boss, or I'm going to try to get a law passed, or I'm going to try to force you to do or not do what I think you should or shouldn't do. Whereas the right is going to try to convince you to do or not do what you should or shouldn't do. That's the big difference. And that's something that we've got to understand and need to embrace. It is fine to call for Tim, to beg him to, or to even be upset with him and say, Tim, you should not host this person. So long as you keep it in your mind, he has the right to host them. So long as and I could see that people were trying to say this on both sides of the argument, that, look, we're not trying to force you to do it. And I do feel like Tim wasn't getting that. But then the other side too, they weren't always doing a good job of saying that, of communicating that. Because when Tim would respond, oh, this is just censorship, rather, some people were saying, no, we're just expressing an opinion. Yes, you have the right to host whomever you want, but we have the right to say we don't like it. I feel like most people were not responding that way. They were just saying, well, he should be censored. That's not the right answer. That's not the right answer. I mean, and even if you do think, oh, this is something you shouldn't have, a better answer would be, I have the right to express an opinion. You have the right to host whomever you want. Because that keeps the emotions a little better under control, and you could actually have a logical conversation. As soon as the emotions start going, both sides are going to dig in their heels, and neither one is going to budge. And that's what I feel like was happening, at least with the Twitter battle going on. Both sides were getting very emotional, and so they weren't even hearing what the other had to say. Okay, I've kind of gone all over the place a little bit, but hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you can understand that, because this is a principle we need to understand. It's a principle we need to be able to embrace, I would say. People you respect on YouTube, if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, probably will at some point host or stream with or whatever someone you don't like. That's okay. They have the right to do that. If they start going over and embracing those ideals or start hosting constantly people like that, then it may be that you say, I don't want to watch this person anymore. But in general, if they're just hosting them now and then, you should be able to say, okay, I don't like it, but I'll still watch the videos where that's not hosting. And even when it's somebody who's absolutely horrible that they're hosting, there can be a benefit to that, because it could be that some people haven't heard this before, and or not that they haven't heard the ideas, but that they haven't heard the evidence that this person believes that this person pushes that. For me, when I heard Richard Spencer speak, it was a shock to me because I didn't realize there were still people who believed that sort of thing. I had heard many accusations of people believing that sort of thing. I didn't realize that people were still alive who were well-spoken, who apparently had thought through these things and still believed it. I was shocked. So that is something that is a reason that I would give for possibly hosting these people. I still don't like it. I probably won't watch it myself, but it can do some good, even when it's somebody with whom you disagree. Anyway, there's my 2 cents on the matter. There's my thoughts on the matter. Hopefully it makes sense. Agree or disagree, feel free to leave a comment below. Hope you all have a good day. That was all I had. Thank you.